Hey, Mr. Chairman, I want to go on. This concluding paragraph is quite short. It also says the lieutenant's office is not being held accountable and is in need of additional oversight. The staff morale appears average to below average. There appears to be a great deal of animosity between line and executive staff. Ms. Whitehead, can you describe the line of authority there? Who's the lieutenant? You don't have to name names, but I mean, just in terms of the line of management, what is the lieutenant's office?
So there's line staff. The lieutenant's office is the first line supervisors of correctional services.
So this would be right underneath the warden?
Right underneath the captain. So it's the
So
warden.
it's the warden has captains reporting to him?
At Atlanta, the captains report to the associate wardens. The associate warden reports to the warden. So therefore, the lieutenants are the first line supervisors. The captain would be the second, the associate warden the third, and the warden is the fourth inside the institution.
Okay. So basically 4 layers of management inside the prison.
Absolutely.
And then the warden reports to the regional director.
Yes.
So it seems like this report is really calling out the lieutenants. I mean, 4 layers down. I mean, again, I've managed things in the past. I first go to the top, recognize an awful lot of things happen underneath, and the top management may be unaware of it. But I think it's interesting to note that this report really focuses on the 4th line of management inside that prison.
It does.
I mean, can you explain why they're, what's wrong with the top 3 layers that they're not providing proper oversight to the lieutenants? I mean, is that where the power is? Is the lieutenant level, is that where the Atlanta way got developed? And the other 3 layers are just ignoring it?
No, it's a collective problem. As far as that report goes, it talks a lot about correctional services, about making rounds, about conducting searches. The lieutenant's office is pretty much responsible for the training the officers in those areas. And the suicide reports and that August 2020 report indicates staff were not conducting searches, staff were not making rounds. And if the lieutenants are making the rounds and supervising the staff, the correctional services staff, then that report indicates some of those things shouldn't have happened. It's a very tight institution, the different levels. So the captain communicates with the lieutenants on a daily basis. The associate warden communicates with the lieutenants on a daily basis. So therefore, if the lieutenant knows what's going on, then the captain should know. And then the captain should let the warden and the associate wardens know. So there's no, it's not correct that the upper 3 levels didn't know what was going on either.
So it says there's animosity between line and executive staff. So define line. Is executive staff the top 2 layers, 3 layers, 4 layers? I mean, what are they? Where's the animosity occurring?
The executive staff is the top layer. The line staff would be the first layer. A lot of the line staff members...
Well, define it in terms of the lieutenants, captains that we were just talking about earlier.
Okay. So the line staff is the first, that's the line staff. Their very first line of supervisor would be the lieutenant's office.
So where's, in this report, do you know where's the animosity between the first line staff and the lieutenant's office and above?
It appears that it is between the first line staff and the lieutenant's office, and then it appears that lieutenant's office have issues with the next level from that report.
So Dr. Ramirez, can you explain why there's all this animosity?
In my experience at Atlanta, the bargaining staff, meaning the officers, the secretaries, oftentimes give pushback to their first line supervisors, so the lieutenant, as is referenced there.
I'm just saying, you said the bargaining staff that'd be the unionized workers?
Yes, sir. That's what they mean by line staff.
Lieutenant above are outside the union?
Yes, sir.
So there's one potential fault line, huh?
So in my experience, what I've witnessed at Atlanta was oftentimes the lieutenants would attempt to address an issue. The line staff may push back, and it created animosity because the captain, the associate warden, and the warden expect a job to be done. The lieutenant is, in my experience, I've witnessed them being very frustrated with being unable to get whatever done.
So is that because they simply can't enforce the directives because of the union won't allow it to be enforced? I mean, is there some labor management issues here that is part of this? And is the Atlanta way, is that really a bottom-up phenomenon, that it's the unionized workers that have created this Atlanta way, and line management simply can't enforce anything for whatever reason?
I certainly think that there are challenges with the union and management at Atlanta. I would also say, as I mentioned in my my testimony, that the agency's accountability for any type of staff misconduct, that entire process is so convoluted. If an employee is...
When you say staff accountability, is that disciplining the union, the bargaining?
Disciplining any staff member.
Anybody?
Yeah, so...
Let me just, because I want to get to one other question, because I think it was Dr. Ramirez, I think in your testimony you talked about teachers and classes, and there's plenty of staff to teach, but you've only seen one course being conducted there. My guess, we're going to hear from the director, and it's always a staff issue, it's always a money issue, and sometimes it certainly is. Can either one of you explain why you've got teachers and education staff and no classes going on, except for that one instance?
Again, at least in my experience, what I witnessed in Atlanta, it was very difficult to account for the staff. There was quite a bit of animosity, not only between the line staff and management, but also between staff who were not Atlanta staff, meaning we came from other institutions.
The outsiders.
The outsiders. So there was quite a bit of divide between the staff. And so it made for a somewhat cat and mouse game at times.
Ms. Whitehead, do you have a comment on that, or?
Dr. Ramirez is right on point.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.